This is the plaintiff, Teresa Harpster. She says the defendant, a landscaper, brutally attacked her Asiatic lilies with his weed whacker, and she was devastated. These lilies are extremely rare and very expensive. Her beautiful lilies are now murdered. The defendant doesn't seem to care, and she's suing him for the $5,000 worth of destruction he caused. This is the defendant, Bill. He says his guy was doing his job when all of a sudden he was physically attacked by the plaintiff, being pushed from behind. She was standing holding her lilies in her hand and then threw the lilies in his employee's face. The guy didn't touch her lilies. He called the cops because the woman was going ballistic, and he needed to calm the situation down. Bottom line, he didn't kill her flowers and certainly doesn't owe her $5,000. He's accused of a whack job.
All parties, please use your ready. Be seated, come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Teresa Harpster?
Yes, Your Honor.
Hi. According to you, you are suing Bill because they destroyed your property. Tell me what happened.
Well, my best friend planted these flowers when we bought them.
And what kind of flowers are
They're
they?
Asiatic black wizard lilies.
Okay.
And they're rare. And bought enough to make the property look nice for my landlord. And he planted them, and I've got pictures of him planting them, taking good care of them.
Can I see those?
Here's the whole book of all the pictures.
Okay. So go on.
When they came up the 17th, they were beautiful, very tall, very beautiful black wizard lilies. And the following year, they killed two of those. And they also did my bleeding heart that my best friend gave me from his bush.
Is this your property or the homeowners association property?
Homeowners Association.
Property. And they hire him?
Yes,
Did
Your
they
Honor.
fire him?
I found out just recently that he stopped working 2 weeks before his contract was up.
All right. So what happens?
I heard the weed whacker going, and I thought, oh no, that's the first thing I thought of, and of course he did weed whack it down, but he never weed whacked the weeds, but killed my Asiatic, and they were very nice and high, and you have the picture. So I went out to him in my pajamas, and I told him, this is the second year this happened. And I showed him in my hand the flowers that were coming up and the stalks that he had killed. Okay, and it's in the pictures. And I told him to go to the library, because if you don't know a flower from a weed, you need to go to the library because they will help you out. They're very intelligent people there.
Were you yelling?
I had to, because the weed whacker was still going.
Okay.
And
he
I
dent turn it off to talk to you?
No, he did not.
Okay.
And I just went like that, and it never even touched
What does
him.
went like that mean?
Oh, the flower that I had in my head, the dead one, just went like that.
Did you throw it at him? Is that what you're saying?
I didn't really throw it at him.
But what were you doing?
I just wanted to show him to look at it and tossed it to him, basically. Okay. And it never touched him.
Okay. Now, your employee had a very different story, correct?
Correct.
You receive a call from your employee that says what?
Pretty much that he was line trimming around a unit, and as he was working, he felt a push from behind. He turned around. He seen the plaintiff there. He put his line trimmer down to see what the issue was.
Did he turn it off? Do you know?
I can't state whether or not
Okay.
he turned it off. I know he put it down. That's what he stated. And at that point, he tried to gather what was going on. The plaintiff was yelling profusely, calling him names, profanities, and such.
Like what?
Dumb. I have the text here if you'd like to see the evidence.
Sure.
Okay. This is a text from the employee sent to me of the situation, in his words.
She came out of her house, screamed at me to get over here, and then she started calling me an dumbass and not knowing information and taking a job I don't know how to do at the tip top of her lungs, which she proceeded to push me after that. She said, if the company won't do something about this, I will. And I proceeded to walk away to avoid further conflict. I mean, he doesn't describe it as she touches him to get his attention. He describes it as she pushes me after she's yelling at me. I proceeded to walk away to avoid further conflict. When I turned around, I took 2 steps back. She threw the flower at me, and the whole time during this situation, I apologized, kept my head down, told her I was sorry, but she yelled. Anything else?
That was it. That was the
All right.
text.
So it seems like he definitely cut them, and I don't know why he would do that. They were kind of pretty. So what happens? Do the police get called out?
Yes, the police get called out because at this point, my employee was assaulted by the plaintiff, and he wasn't allowed to do his job. It was continuous. So in an effort to de-escalate the situation, we called the police. Our intent wasn't to have the plaintiff arrested, but it was to de-escalate the situation so we can continue
Now
doing
that
our
kind
job.
of escalated the situation, didn't it?
Yes.
You didn't like that the police were called.
I was shocked.
Well, according to him, you pushed him and you threw flowers at him. According to you, you just threw a flower up in the air. So I'm having a little bit of difficulty with that. So why wouldn't you expect the police to be called?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Can this woman sue if it's not her property for the flowers that were destroyed?
Absolutely not. She put them in the wrong place, and they had the right to do maintenance where she put them.
Hypothetically, what if she has the right to use the property, but she doesn't own the property and they destroy the flowers?
I still think she has a right to sue since it's not her own property.
She does not have a right?
No, I don't think she has a right.
Wait a minute. So if you had an apartment and you planted flowers around your unit, and somebody destroyed them, you couldn't sue to get the money for the flowers?
Well, so it's owned by the property management company, not the tenants.
But what if you planted them?
If I planted them on my property?
We're out of time to argue. I won, but I think I won this one, going inside the courtroom.
I did not swear at him. I did not use any profanity at all. And I told him to go to the library to learn what a flower is.
In fact, she ends up calling your office how many times?
Multiple times.
What's multiple?
Probably more than 4 or 5 in a short period of time.
And what was she saying?
I have the office administrator who documented the conversation right here.
She would like to weed whack the kid that cut her flowers and weed whack Bill for hiring someone with no brains. The head of South Village doesn't care and is a liar. The head of that's the homeowners association?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. She's taking notes of everything you said during your calls. She's making pineapple upside down cake for employee at a price chopper because that's what she does when she gets good service. She could die before she sees another lily bloom. She expects a call today. When will we replace her bushes? And then that your employee says she threw the flowers. She called, blasting our company at the top of her voice. Let me ask you a question, because
Yes, Your Honor.
you told me that is the lilies were planted in a place that belongs to the homeowners association.
Actually, it's the front of it belongs to the homeowner association, but it also belongs to the landlord.
It can't belong to both. Well, only one person owns that. You don't pay to have it trimmed, right? It's the homeowners
My
association.
landlord does,
Right.
and I pay the rent.
Right. Well, but your landlord probably doesn't pay to have it trimmed either. You're not paid by individual landlords. Anything that grows is homeowners' property.
Yes, Your Honor. We're contracted through the association, and the association pays us to
Is there
maintain
any
the property.
portion of it that belongs to the actual homeowners or condo owners or whatever?
Not to my knowledge, and here's the portion of our contract that states that we're to maintain the beds, if you'd like to see that.
Yeah, let me see that. But when you're contracted to maintain the beds, why do you chop down flowers? Did he thought it was a weed?
Our intent is clearly not to chop down.
Why did you ever talk to him and ask him what happened? It's just a mistake, obviously, so there's not much to talk
Correct,
about.
Your
Plus,
Honor.
he got shoved and had flowers thrown in his face.
Yes.
So my question to you is, what was your plan with her? Like, why did you ever talk to her about possibly compensating her for the value of the flowers or anything like that, or that wasn't discussed?
That was discussed, and I would have loved to try to make her, happy again, even though it was the association's property, and we didn't have the obligation to do so. But we always try to go above and beyond. But the plaintiff didn't seem like she was a very rational person, and with the threats that she made it to me at the time.
What were the threats she made?
That she wanted to weed whack me down, and the physical altercation that already happened with the employee. I didn't think it was a prudent move to make contact with her.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand why. How are you coming in here and suing for $5,000 over a few plants?
First of all, Your Honor, I do want to say that when I kept calling, I would leave messages with his people that
Yeah,
take
but you acted like a
messages.
crazy person, so he doesn't want to talk to you.
I didn't act like a crazy
Okay,
person.
the police were called out. You said in one of your phone calls, I never pushed him, and the employee says I never pushed him. That's not true. The employee, I read it, and the police report says you pushed him. So
But that's
it
not
did
the
not
truth.
go over well. But my question to you is a very simple one. How is it that a few plants would cost $5,000?
Well, he's trying to ruin my reputation, first of all.
By calling the police when you shove his
I
employee
never
and throw
shoved.
flowers at him.
I never shoved him. He had his weed whacker and he put it down because the blade was going. He stopped that, but the weed whacker was still running.
House at $5,000. You're suing for $1,000 for destroying your property. How would that ever be worth $1,000?
All the flowers I have to
$2,000
redo.
for harassment.
And
How
I
did he
don't-
harass you? You called them 5 times.
I
How did
don't
he
get
harass you?
to see those flowers.
How did he harass you?
Who?
I don't know. Who you
Bill?
suing? You're suing his company because you say you
I
want
never-
$2,000 for them harassing you. How did they harass
I
you?
never harassed him. He hung up the phone
No,
on me
no.
when I tried to
How
talk
did
to
they
him.
harass you? That you're suing. Listen, I'm reading your lawsuit. You want $5,000. You want $1,000 for destroying your property. You can't answer how on earth those plants will be worth $1,000.
No,
you
I just
want
want-
$2,000 for them harassing you. How did they harass you?
By calling the police and lying to the police because the young man said that he never called the police. I was told that he
I'm sure the
called
young man
police.
didn't. The young man called him, and you, as the owner of the
He
company,
never
called the
called him.
police. That's what
His
I would do.
own workers had
$1,000 for defamation of character. How did they defame your character?
By calling the police and telling them that I
Well,
shoved him,
that's
which I
not
never
him.
did.
That's the actual witness who says you shoved him.
I never shoved him.
Do you have any proof that you're out $5,000?
Not total. I don't have
Do
the
you have
original.
any proof at all
I
that
don't
you're out
have,
a penny? Other than that I can see that someone accidentally chopped your lilies that were planted
Right.
on property you do not own. Do you have any
I don't
proof
have the
of
receipts
the value?
of
Okay,
the
well, today's the day
plants.
you'd need them because today's a lawsuit. You have a couple of problems with your lawsuit. Number one, this isn't your property. It's the South Village property. They would be the ones to have to make a claim against him because
But they didn't say they
destroyed
would do anything.
No, they're not going to do anything. They don't
They said
feel
it
the
was up
same
to
way
me.
that you do about it.
They said it was
I
up to me.
would consider that perhaps you are entitled to some remuneration for if people keep making a mistake and,
This is the second
cropping out.
year.
Do you hear me talking?
I'm sorry.
People keep making a mistake 2 years in a row and cutting down your pretty flowers. I would have considered that if you push someone, you kind of given up because they kind of have a claim against you for your conduct. But we're going to put all that to a side because the truth of the matter is I don't even need to go into that analysis. I have this analysis, which is it's not your property. They're employed by someone else, and if that someone else cares, that someone else can sue them. But I don't find that in this case you have proven to me the value of your loss, nor that you are entitled to get it from him. Verdict for the defendant.
Liar. God'll get you.
So the plaintiff fails in her bid to get $5,000.
I don't care about the money. It's not the money. It's what he did, and he lied in court. But God'll get to him. That's on his shoulders, not mine. And the young man.
What did he lie about?
About me shoving him. I would never do that. I never used any profanity against that young man or him. I never met him until today.
All right. One other question I never heard discussed. Will the lilies grow back?
No, they did not grow back.
You can plant more though, right?
But those are very rare. Wizard black lilies.
You never established the value. Where do you get so much money for? I mean, how much are they cost to plant
Go
the
online.
lilies?
Go online and look.
No, I'm asking you.
They're like $26.
How do you sue for $1,000?
It's not. I didn't care about the money. It's the point to get him in here to tell the truth, and he did not tell the truth. I did, and that's all I care about because God knows the truth.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Okie dokes. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Well, what are you thinking?
Well, the customer's not always right. Contrary to popular belief, you can't assault, defame, dehumanize a person and expect to get something in return. Sometimes the customer's just wrong, and if you're nice, it makes all the difference in the world.
She's really adamant. She says she didn't do all that.
Yeah, I don't know what to say to that. I just say, you got to be nice to your fellow humankind. You can't treat people like that.
Yeah, okay, good enough. All right, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
You know, I got to say, what this guy said in the hallway is so true. This whole business about, oh, the customer's always right. That's bogus. The customer is not always right. It's just a ridiculous. What it means is, you know, that the business person should just eat it because you want customer relations, which may be true, but the customer is not always right.